they usually have, as it is, there are difficulties in terms of working capital. If they have to invest, they don't find much incentive in terms of investing in rejuvenation of that technology. Even if somebody decides to do that, they won't find partners from the knowledge institution who would help them. And they won't get this technology, particularly small people, they won't get this technology from outside. So I know, I can't say about Marathwada because I'm not so familiar, but I know in several places such clusters of MSME industries are in serious difficulties. And while there are issues, there are many other issues in terms of the government policies, running of industries and so on and so forth. One core issue is they are not able to keep their technology at a level which would be considered competitive in the contemporary times. What is the way out? Now this is one part. Other side, we have a huge number of engineering colleges. And they all have some relation or the other with the industry. For a variety of things. After all, industry is an employer of the students coming out of engineering colleges. So that's certainly one relationship. But there are many other ways of building relationship between engineering colleges and the industry. But then when it comes to solving actual real life problem with significant stakes involved, you find there are gaps. Neither the industry would trust on the students of engineering college or faculty of engineering college to solve their problem, nor the faculty or students would consider solving such problems in small industry somewhere up to their prestige. They would always want something which will bring them a good paper, good citation. Because our value system is of that kind. Now it's extremely important that we develop organic links between industry and the engineering college institutions. And some of you might have heard the Confederation of Indian Industries have in fact now promoted, I think that promoted 100 fellowships sometime back, and it was to go to 1,000. Whether it has happened or not, I don't know, but maybe it's about to happen. And the idea is the PhD research done by engineering college students, if industry finds that that research is of interest to them, and if the engineering college or the institution agrees that they will allow industry to participate in discussion, monitor the outcome, define some outcome out of that research which industry wants, then industry would support an equivalent additional fellowship to the PhD student. And it's already several institutions, this scheme has been won by the faculty and 100 such fellowships have been dispersed. I think we need that to happen in a much larger scale, where industry can put demand that you solve my problem, and the knowledge domain would respond saying, yes, here is the solution to your problem. If we reach like that, then I think, now this is also, you may not end up in a new product, but you will maintain your industrial commercial enterprise at a competitive level, at least from a technology perspective. Because I'm sure all of you have, see, there was a time when you could get old technology obsolete, you take another technology from outside and continue your business. Today, with the liberalized economy, with opportunity for anybody to market their products here, nobody is going to give you technology which is the latest, because they would rather make products and market them here. They will give you technology which is at least one version lower, and then you can't run competitive business on that. And so, for us to remain competitive in our industrial manufacturing sector, I think again the strong connections between the knowledge domain and the industrial domain are absolutely vital. And the government, the industry, and the knowledge domain, I think, must work together to evolve there are several ways of doing it, and I think under each situation one can evolve something different. But this is of crucial importance. The third aspect that I would like to cover is, in terms of, this is okay in terms of as long as you are doing something which is which somebody else has done, we also create products. I think there are specific needs of Indian people, Indian market, and Indian environment. If you want to create technology products which would meet those needs, and mind you, India is known to be one of the largest market, 1/6 of humanity, economy growing very fast, rapidly rising middle class with growing incomes. All these are signatures of a major market. Now, we of course have invasion of technology products from outside. Now, and we of course are happy that okay, we get wonderful services, wonderful products. Remember, in so doing, it's actually affecting our psyche. It's affecting a mindset. Let me first state the problem, and then I'll come to elaboration. See, India was taken over by British. Its roots lay in East India Company doing business here. I'm not saying that the same thing will repeat. Things don't repeat in exactly the same way. We had several consumer products. If you look at your own households, there was a time when the fridge and the cooking range and the air conditioner and the washing machine, we had good Indian products. Most of the houses will have Indian brands. Today, most of them have vanished. We of course feel very proud that I have this brand, that brand, which is fine. Probably it is a little better than what the earlier brand, the kind of service earlier brand was giving. But fact is, the Indian brands have, I wouldn't say vanished, but nearly vanished. Several brands have been wiped off. Just as I told you about the MSME sector and all, why is it that the Indian brands vanished? Why couldn't Indian brands, sometimes you say, public sector bad and all, these were all in private sector. They had all the efficiency, all the managerial acumen. Why did these products vanish? And they vanished because there was a disconnect between knowledge domain and the manufacturing domain. So imagine a situation when you are able to do very little value addition in the country, and the consumer here gets into a habit of buying brands which come from outside. We can't be worrying about current account deficit when you have developed such mindset. I think there is no use blaming people because they buy that market. I think it's the job of the industry to make sure that the Indian brands compete in the Indian market at least. I think we should compete even outside. And there are examples. Some of our Indian-made automobiles are competing outside. But I think it's, again, as I said, for each one of them, I'm saying you will find an example. Somebody has done a good job. But can we do this on a large scale? See, Indian automobiles, some of them are competing very well, both in the Indian market and outside, because they have a huge R&D establishment of their own. So they have brought in that connectivity between knowledge domain and the industrial activity. So the point I'm making is this question is more serious than just this question of competitiveness, profit and loss, investment. This is actually much more serious, and I think we need to focus on it. It will be a tragedy if, in spite of the fact that we have the largest size of youth force in our country, in spite of the fact that we know that our people are some of the brightest people in the world, but we are not able to protect Indian brands in Indian market. And this is where I think we need to very quickly move towards innovation society. There are, of course, larger strategic dimensions where also it becomes very important that see, the simple point is, if you want to maintain an edge in the international competitive domain, then you must have at least some areas where you have your own products which are best in the world. I cannot imagine that we will have products in all areas which are best in the world, but I think there must be at least some domains. See, each one has a character. Swiss people at some stage were known for their watches. Different societies, they had their... So I think we should be also people where we are able to produce something which are best in the world in a sizable domain, and it's only then. Now this thing can never happen. You want to be best in the world, you cannot do so by copying. By copying, you can be at best, at the max, second best. By definition, if I copy you, I cannot surpass you. I can come close to you, but I can never surpass you. And so, you have to be able to create new capabilities, new technologies, new knowledge-led products, which is innovation. And I think that segment of innovation is something that we need to focus. And as I said in the beginning, there is I have almost come to the conclusion that this is more a societal issue than the issue of government or industry or any such thing. And I think, of course, all those things are important, but we need to think more fundamental. And the industry group, industry is known to be more analytical, known to be clear-headed. And I thought I must mention all these things to this group so that maybe you have already factored such things, but do you factor this in your planning, emerging scheme of things and so on? And I'm quite sure that as far as India is concerned, the sky is the limit if we are able to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now the session is open for questions. Let I take my first privilege of asking the first question.